Let's start off with our big sports betting story of the day. Kalshi strikes again. Boy, do they ever. $441 million for the non-sports betting company called the Prediction Market Company. My gosh, it does feel similar, though. Trading activity between the Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles in the season opener, $441 million in activity since then. That is crazy since the first week of the season. Of course, that would not include Monday night's game with the Vikings and the Bears. It took $200 million on Sunday alone. Why does this matter? This is a company that is operating in a sports betting space, but is not sports betting. And there are no basic regulations on whether or not they're allowed to take money or not. They just decided to do it. You can make predictions on sporting events and a lot of other things over on Kalshi's website. Not a commercial, by the way, for it, just stating facts. Okay, Monday Night Football. If you stopped watching at halftime, kind of like Sunday Night Football, you made a big mistake. 27-24, the Vikings rallied to come back and defeat the Chicago Bears. It looked like this was going to be Bears money line under the total for like 2 hours. And then all of a sudden, the Vikings stormed back. It was all J.J. McCarthy in the second half. You see Aaron Jones there. He also caught a big touchdown pass in the game. Definitely a tale of two halves in this game. What happened to the Bears in the second half? Did not play particularly well. Here's Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Vikings, talking about making the adjustments which led to the win.
When things aren't going well, things aren't going your way, I thought the defense, battled and kept us in the football game. Special teams made some huge plays. Obviously, Miles Price with some big returns, but with the field goal to give us a little bit of life there at the end of the first half. I was just so proud of JJ and our offensive group. There's 1,000 things that we all can clean up. There's 1,000 things that myself and our staff will get cleaned up. We can all be better, but to come to this place, ton of energy in the building, find a way to just keep playing, just keep trying to find a way. And our guys, there's been some games here over these last few years where, we've demonstrated that, but tonight felt like there was something, new quarterback on the road, some new players throughout our team, really trying to figure it out together. And the way that we were able to do that, I'm very, very proud of our team.
On the flip side, the Bears got off to a hot start, halftime lead, control midway through the third quarter. Then things fell apart for Caleb Williams and company. The offense was rolling under Ben Johnson. They also had a pick six, but Williams inevitably after the game said they need to do more to win.
I think first it starts with getting in and out of huddle. It starts with being able to just complete some easy passes, check downs, and things like that. Keep the drives going, and I think we did that in the beginning. And that's the hot start that you're talking about. And I think a few balls got batted. We had penalties and things like that, so it slowed the drives down. Slowed the momentum down that we had, and we got to get better at those.
Caleb, this series that ends with it being 3rd and 30, and then Kyler misses the field goal.
Yep.
What is the lesson from there in terms of the momentum change?
Yeah, the lesson there is get the ball past the line of scrimmage. I was trying to throw the ball away, and it just didn't get past the line of scrimmage because I knew we were in field goal range. I think I've been able to have a couple of those moments, and I've come up here and spoke to you all about learning from those moments, and I knew we were in field goal range, like I said, and just being able to get the ball past the line of scrimmage in that position, trying to throw it away, and trying to keep us in field goal range.
Now, off the field, no stranger to news is Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, and TMZ has another report yet today saying that Hill's estranged wife has alleged in court filings that he's committed domestic violence. The Dolphins receiver has said he has not done it and denied it. According to documents obtained by TMZ, his ex-wife alleges 8 separate incidents of domestic violence. He has not been charged, and it is unclear as to where this has headed for Tyreek Hill, although the Dolphins got off to a very rough start on the field, unrelated to Tyreek Hill. All right, tight end position, already thin in the National Football League, gets a little bit thinner by one. George Kittle, with a hamstring issue, is going to miss multiple weeks, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, as he'll have to sit. He left the week 1 game against Seattle early. Also, Brock Purdy, questionable with a couple of different injuries, shoulder and toe. We'll see if he ends up playing this week. An announcement made yesterday by the Giants. They had to do this 1 week into the season. Russell Wilson, 17 of 37 for 168 yards. Some speculation that maybe Jackson Dart would get the start this week for the Giants, but Brian Daboll, head coach of the Giants, put an end to that speculation yesterday.
You kind of left it hanging out there, so I think you have to start here. Do you intend to start Russell Wilson this week?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and after a game, it's an emotional game. It's a tough game. Didn't play particularly well, I would say, collectively, but in terms of making any of those decisions, really at any position or schematic changes, I'd like to, do it with a clear head and watch the tape. And again, like I said yesterday, that game just doesn't fall on Russell Wilson. You got to do a better job collectively, coaching, playing, but Russ will be the starter.
Was that even ever really a decision for you?
Well, again, it's right at the end of the game, so I'm not going to say.
I mean, when you went back and watched it.
No, Russ will be the starter.
Let's move on to a trade in the National Football League. Bit of a surprise considering the season already underway. Running back Tank Bigsby traded by Jacksonville to Philadelphia. Jaguars apparently happy with their running back room. And also Denzel Perryman out indefinitely. Chargers linebacker could be placed on IR. We will see. All right, in college football, some controversy over the weekend in the Kansas-Missouri game. There was a play in the first quarter after Missouri's touchdown. The Tigers were flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. And this issue has basically led to the Big 12 pulling the officiating crew off week 3 because of a rules issue. They allowed a punt to occur on a free kick in violation of Rule 2, Section 16, if you have the book. The Big 12 officiating crew has been removed from its next scheduled assignment on Friday. So some issues there with the refs, and they'll get it fixed. Colorado is expected to make a quarterback change. Ryan Staub will go this week against Houston for Coach Prime. And yet again, another team fined. Mississippi State fined $500,000 by the SEC for field storming. Yesterday, good news for the Philadelphia Phillies. They've been waiting all season for this, and they got it. Aaron Nola, 6 innings pitched of shutout ball. How about that? 3 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts as they beat the Mets 1-0. Tyler Glasnow also pitched well, 7 innings for the Dodgers, past the Rockies 3-1. And Fernando Tatis Jr. had a sacrifice fly in the 10th inning, and the Padres beat the Reds by a final score of 4-3, with the Reds clinging to hopes for the National League wild card.